Food, mud, root truths. It's not interesting. Huge food shortage, expected permanent continuous food shortage, steep increase in demand for food, sharp fall in supply of food, threats to farmland due to nature's anger. Nature became against humans as humans went against nature. Atmosphere warming. So the atmosphere becoming warmer due to melting of polar caps. Sea level is slowly increasing. It will get inundated and the land will become saline. Land which are getting inundated. Atmosphere warming. So West Africa ice sheet were to melt and collapse into the sea, it would push the sea levels 10 meters, more than 32 feet, and many coastal areas would completely sink beneath. So this all impact we are seeing already through map. Unfortunately, India has 7,500 long, low coastline. So this already you see generation of loss of farmland due to increasing sea level. India has 7,516 kilometers. Gujarat tops with 1,600. Next, Tamil Nadu 1,076. And Andhra 972, Maharashtra 720, Kerala 590, Odisha 485, Karnataka 300, West Bengal 150. But the point you should note here is that the food shortage and the threats. Originally, it was thought that if you are near a sea, there are so many advantages. But here, it's not advantage anymore. Soil warming, I attended a conference in another university on soil warming. Soil becomes warmer due to climate change. So what will happen? Climate change and agriculture are interconnected processes, both of which take place on a global scale. Global warming is projected to have significant impacts on conditions affecting agriculture, including temperature, carbon dioxide, glacial runoff, precipitation, and the interaction of these elements. These conditions determine the carrying capacity of the biosphere to produce enough food for the human population and domesticated animals. The mind-boggling paradox. At the same time, agriculture has been shown to produce significant effects on climate change, primarily through the production of release of greenhouse gases such as carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide. So, by altering the Earth's land cover, which can change the ability to absorb, reflect heat and light, thus contribute to radioactivity. So, agricultural lands also contributing climate change. Land use change such as deforestation, desertification, together with use of fossil fuels are the major anthropogenic sources of carbon dioxide. Agriculture is the major contributor to increasing methane and nitrous oxide concentration in Earth's atmosphere. Sea warming. Warming oceans are pushing fish toward the poles instead of cooler waters. According to a study that raises new concerns that climate change is robbing the tropics of a primary source of income and nutrition, loss of seafood, sea warming making the wind warmer. So these are the pictures. Even the size of the fish is getting reduced. That's what they say. Not the quantity, also the size. And again, it's not just the case of dwindling fish population and migration of fish population towards south near Antarctic. It's much more than that. Global warming is likely to shrink the size of fish such as much as quarter coming decades, according to groundbreaking new study, the world oceans. In other words, the fish will drastically shrink in its size. Reduction of the individual fish size will be matched by dwindling overall fish stocks. One scientist at a time when the world is growing, human population is putting even greater pressure on fisheries. Sea warming, scientists fear declining Arctic sea ice loss. Warming waters may have caused the unprecedented mass migration of thousands of walrus from the ice flows to dry land along Alaska's coast. Wind warming. Atmospheric sea soil warming will lead to wind warming. Wind warming will make cyclones, hurricanes, typhoons more violent, virulent, and volatile and frequent. Wind will cause destruction of agricultural forests, including uprooting the fruit-bearing trees. So you are seeing it here. Okay, I mean, this is all you can pass and study. So wind warming causes, here you see practically trees are uprooted and crops are destroyed. So all this warming cause pollution. Is one slide, all these things are given for you to pass and read this. Farmland cancer due to use of chemical pesticide and genetically modified food. No need to say. Pig oil is another aspect. And population explosion, population increasing. The one development is taking place, population growth. It keeps on developing, exploding. That is more stomachs, less land. Just look at it. And what is urban? Urbanization is the physical growth of urban areas, the rural migration, even suburban concentrated cities, particularly the very large ones. When India got a independence, urban area was less than 34%. By 2050, it is 64.1 and 85.9 of the developing and developed world respectively will be urbanized. And which lead to loss of huge chunk of farmlands, villages losing its charm and natural beauty. Farmland becoming building land, construction of building on farmlands, concrete jungles, murder of farmlands, what life can be, what's life going to be. And layouts come suddenly. You see, once you see a road and this cornerstones, you know that farmland is been butchered, murdered. Murder of farmlands for layout continues. 1,200 college schools on farmlands last 12 years. 1,002 college schools. Welcome to Sipcot, interstate state, and goodbye to farmlands and food to eat. So village farmers are fighting. Whenever they lose land, they fight for some time and then give up. We made a study at least two places. The farmers are being given compensations. What happens to money? The money, they lose the money. They spend the money for unwanted things. They get to bad habits and family becomes pauper. They become refugee in their own place. Because there's a thing called rehabilitation resettlement, which is they train, foreign countries are trained the farmers for another vocation, a relocation. There's so many alternatives are available. But we don't attempt, land is just acquired by notice. And particularly Narendra Modi ji 2014 he brought an act that farmland taken for developmental activity, nobody can raise their finger. He wanted development. Development what cost? Not the cost of farmlands. You can show development in this election, but what will happen after 20 years? More important. So the farmers fight. Here you can see farm estates are fast becoming industrial estates, murder of farmlands, and airport. This is a Sri Bermundur, Greenfield Airport. Oh, it can be Greenfield, but now it has been shifted to another place. Anyway, wherever it goes, it takes farmland, wipes out villages, they all become refugees. Construct railway tracks and construction of pipelines are found very, very bad because very often the leakage, the crops are lost, and deserts grow by 100 square kilometers every year. Desertification is called. So global urbanization map showing the percentage of urbanization per country. So one picture, it explains, you can pass and read it. It was me, Nirmal Basu, GPIN, Census Master Trainer since 1991 at MB Nirmal, Twitter.
If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that subscribe button before you go and click the bell icon to get regular updates from our channel. In case you have missed any videos, please visit the channel page by clicking the channel icon.